Hey, Juan here. Have you ever wondered what a technical product manager is? In this video, we will talk about what a technical product manager is and what they do in their daily job. So technical product managers in principle do very similar things to what a product manager does. They are trying to identify a problem that users have and try to find a solution for that problem. And of course as well, they want to make as much as possible a big impact on the business. And here is also where the differences start when you are thinking about who are their customers, what are the problems that they are trying to solve, and what are the solutions that they are figuring out. Because usually technical product managers, they are going to work very close with the actual engineering team, and usually they are working with products that potentially are going to be more used internally within the company, or that they are going to be used externally, but they are very technical products that requires that, for example, the users of those products might be software engineers. This means that usually the products that they're going to be working with are typically going to be things like APIs, different type of platforms or engines that will require others to build on top of them. So why this technical product manager role or title is important? The reality is that these people usually had to be very technical from the point of view that they had to understand pretty well the industry that they are working. And I know that sometimes I say that knowing the industry is not the most important trait for a product manager, but in this case it's very important because it helps a lot to have the conversation and those planning sessions with your engineering team. And from my experience, usually technical product managers tend to work in companies where there's a relatively large development team. Also, many times they are working relatively closely to a product manager, where the product manager is working more on the vision and potentially how to actually build a solution for the end users, and maybe potentially the technical product manager might be more focused on how to build the actual engine that is going to power that solution. This means that, for example, for technical product managers, the users are going to be quite different and the stakeholders are going to be quite different than they are typically for a product manager. For example, the users, if you are building a set of APIs, might be internal teams within the company or external teams that are just using your APIs because there are open APIs out there. And also your stakeholders are usually going to be completely different, and usually they are going to be within the realms of engineering, data, and very technical roles. But usually as a technical product manager, you might not have so many interactions with people from business, people from sales, marketing, and so on. And I have to say that from my point of view, I think that the technical product manager role is a role that helps greatly, for example, product managers to have that conversation, especially when they are not maybe that technical, and get that support from the technical product manager to have that conversations then with the engineering teams when the technical product manager is able to actually plan those very technical parts of the product. Another advantage of being very technical is that they potentially know solutions that other people in the product management team might not be aware of, and they could take advantage to actually make a much better solution for the users. On the other hand, there can be a very blurry threshold between what a technical product manager is and maybe a software architect or a senior software engineer are doing. Because potentially those roles might be starting to overlap, and it depends on the company. Maybe there's no technical product managers and that's the role of a software architect and they are doing that role, whereas in other companies they are going to have defined that technical product manager. So there might be a little bit too much of a specialization of this role to be very centered around what engineering is doing. But I think that there's still a good point to have technical product managers when you're thinking about you have as a company external APIs or open APIs for people outside your product to use and connect and communicate with your product. In those cases, I think that it's very important to treat these components, this part of the product, also as products as such, because you are still serving customers, you are still serving users who are using that tool to actually develop on top of it. You can think a good example of where technical product managers could have a good role is something like Android, where you had to build all the different APIs for people to go and build all the different apps that we use pretty much in our daily lives, whether they are for fitness, for games, for productivity, but we have them on our phone, and those are built by people who are using Android as a set of APIs where they can build on top of it. So as a technical product manager, you have to still think many things as a product manager should think about. who are your users, what are their problems, how are you finding the solutions, how big is the total addressable market, and so on and so forth. And the reality is that nowadays many companies out there require people in product management to have some kind of a technical background, to typically have been somebody who has been maybe in software engineering or that has been working in tech companies relatively close to engineering teams, so they can have that communication with the engineering team really fluidly without any problems. And it's true that technical product managers, like product managers, still have to talk with stakeholders that are in business, like salespeople, marketing, and so on. But most of their daily work is going to happen within the product squad. So engineering, design, product managers, and data people. But in the end, a technical product manager is going to be using a very similar set of tools as a product manager uses. So they're going to use different frameworks for finding the problem, for product discovery, like creating your MVP, different frameworks also for doing prioritization. They are also going to have to produce roadmaps. They're going to have to do stakeholder management, and they're going to have to be able to track the success of the products that they're building, among many other things. So, do I think that you need technical product managers? I think that if the product that you're building is a very technical product, or if it's a product that is an actual engine or could be used as an engine, I think that technical product managers are going to be really good to handle those very technical components, the core of that engine that you are building. And I talk in this video about some tech companies asking or requiring product managers to have some kind of technical background. Is this a myth? Is this a reality? Do product managers need to be technical? If you want to know more about this, go check out this video. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it a lot if you give it a like. This way YouTube will push it to more people that have similar interests as you have. I will see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe.